Welcome back to episode 8 of the Palouse Playbook podcast under the Up West Sports umbrella. What a game over this past weekend. Wazoo falls unfortunately short to number 4th ranked Ole Miss, and we preview this upcoming week against UVA. But first, this message.
What's up, fellas? Welcome to the Palouse Playbook. I'm your host, Chad Kebba. We got Gavin, Joel, and Kyle. Fellas, what a weekend. Just letting the viewers know I was down there, and man, everything about that trip was perfect. I don't think outside of the final score, um, I'd say just the whole atmosphere being down at SEC football, and I know we'll continue to kind of roll through my stories or experience with it, but I mean, I think really just set the tone too. The first Uber drive I took, it was a gentleman about, college age, about maybe 21, 22, and he was asking so many questions about Cougar football. Very interested. So that's like a little different. A lot of times you hop into an Uber in Pullman or even in Seattle, they wouldn't even really know a single player. They wouldn't know much about the game too. So that just really sets the tone, the kind of fan that we were hanging out with. And my gosh, SEC football is a different breed, fellas.
I can only imagine, man.
Yeah, if it was anything from the downtown area to hanging out at the Grove to just being in the stadium, it was electric. Yeah, I can't speak enough of it. I know the Jimmy said it best too. He was, or it was Zevi actually. Zevi said it best. It was just what they didn't love the final score, but they love the fans showing up for the game. So it felt special. But I thought I'd start out with that. But fellas, give me some takeaways though on offense. I'd love to start there. Where are you guys' heads at for that? Where I felt like personally started out with a bang, really set the tone. We took the air out of the stadium like right away. We controlled the line of scrimmage. It felt like we continue to get better doing that. But yeah, I want to get your guys' takes on it. Kyle, take it away.
Yeah, Kyle.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, just that little bit right there, you really set the tone. Offense, I would say there were three. I would say overall offense, special teams, there were 3 plays. It was the missed field goal and the 2 drops, and I guess the fourth one would be that kind of cutesy 3rd and 1 play where they try to do the direct snap. Beyond that, it was a well executed game. I mean, no turnovers. Now 2 for 10 on 3rd down isn't exactly what you're wanting, but we moved the ball. We were physical. I think we were the more physical team at the end of the day. And I'll let Joel talk more on that because that was definitely a tip of the cap to the defense. But we set the tone. We didn't have a lot of negative plays, and Zevi took care of the football. He made plays when he needed to. That trick play, I mean, my kid freaked out when I did it. I'm screaming in the lower room like, oh my God, like what just happened? But it was awesome. I mean, I left that game going, I'm not even mad. Like I'm not like we played our asses off, almost came out with a W minus a few plays. I'm looking forward to what Joel says because I think we flustered the hell out of their offense. You can call your quarterback a D2 quarterback or, we just didn't execute. Well, I think that's because of what we did, not what they didn't do. So overall offense played a hell of a game. Can't ask for much. Obviously 2 drops and a missed field goal.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing too is you mentioned earlier, no turnovers. Like that just made us such a cleaner team overall. We're able to be and seeing too just our receivers really step up. I only saw really 1 bad drop and it was first half of the game, but Zevi coming in, 24 completions, 218 yards, 2 TDs in front of his largest crowd of this season probably. Hasn't played an SEC team yet in his career, and only his third start really as a Coug. So it's really impressive just to see him kind of step into that role. And also just Tony Freeman too. Fellas, 9 catches, 90 yards. I mean, he was very efficient. He kept that offense moving, and just something you'll have to see.
Yeah, I wanted to touch one last bit on the offense before sending it to Joel. I know Joe's chomping at the bit to get to the defense and everything, but
No.
I did want to take just a little bit of grain of salt in this absolutely phenomenal game. So these are the games that you can't afford the little mistakes. This is such a good team that you can't, like, normally when there's some drop passes, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? All right, we'll pick it up later. This is the one team, the one game that you're like, you can't afford those. Now, granted, I don't think it ended up hurting us. The Tony Freeman, drop third down, and there was another drop third down. I think it was like a little shuffle pass to a running back on third down as well. Palouse, and granted, he's had a couple this year, and that's we've seen a little bit of a trend with drop passes in our wide receiver core, which is a little surprising. Usually, that's not our wide receiver history. Even with Josh Meredith and some of these guys are returning, very interesting to see what happens when Devin Ellison finally makes that comeback. However, this offense putting up 21 points against that team, even if it was their second and third stringers, I would have been like, you know what? Hey, they kind of did their job. They did what they were supposed to do. But the fact that they put up 21 against their ones, hey, I'm very impressed. There's not a lot that you can take away, and I can't even fault Jack Stevens for not hitting a 53-yarder. It didn't. That was a tough one. I don't know how many times.
Would have put us up 10-0 though. What might have changed the game going to that halftime? I felt like,
and it's tough because he's been rock solid for us pretty much all season long.
It's his first miss of the year.
It's his first miss of the year, and it was a 53-yarder. Granted, it was a pretty bad miss. It wasn't even close, but something for him to improve on moving forward, and hopefully he can kind of gain a couple yards from that. But I mean, overall, man, what a game! A lot to love, and it just kind of reiterates Jimmy did his homework. He went to battle with his guys. He had him prepared going into a number 4th ranked team, which just reiterates my sentiment from the very beginning of the year. Jimmy was the right guy for the job. I'm very excited to see what Jimmy has cooked up for this week against UVA.
And Ole Miss had a bye too. That's the other thing. Like, they had just as much time to prepare as we did.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, I just need to remind everybody. I mean, if you're excited about this Cougar team and want to see us continue to do, what do we need to do, boys? What do you think I'm going to say?
Is it start with a 1 and ends with a 0?
Yeah. So take $18.90, go to the Cougar Collective and sign up. And it's a monthly donation. And this team's going to get better year over year. So, fellas, ladies, everybody, Coug fans out there, help me help you. Let's do this.
Right. Thank you for that fun side. Again, Chad is not going
to I mean, and it was nice. I mean, like, I don't even want to stop talking about like that atmosphere too. It was just like being at the Grove was really special, and obviously the Cougs showed up. We had over 5,000 fans, and it was really fun being in the Grove and all the fans being super welcoming. So before the game, we made sure to hang out in the Coug tailgate though. I know Cougar Collective had some stuff going on. Washington State Cougar Athletic Fund was doing another tent. But the thing about Ole Miss is they try to keep it to only Ole Miss fans. And then they have the WSU tents that you can get. But if you're like affiliated with the actual school itself, they move you off that area. So I thought that was super interesting. And it just makes me think too, is there a way we can get a little undercover? Have a designated fan section for people to go, put some QR codes up. Let's scan, let's donate to the program. So got me a little motivated to see what we can continue to do, man. But I mean, just from the Grove before and after, I mean, afterwards we were hanging out with like this family, and her husband played for Ole Miss in the 60s. She welcomed us in with open arms, had a nice, it was like a banana, cream pie. Ooh. It was just like amazing food too at the tailgate. If you can't tell, I have a sore throat going from screaming at the game and just having a little too much extra, but that's all right. That's a different story. Right. Keep this PG. But yeah, I mean, I think everything about it, and then you just sprinkle in the Mariners playing a Friday night, and me and the crew, we
Just-
got a nice spot in front of a big screen TV at the Velvet Ditch, and it was just a lot of people are like, "What are you guys cheering for?"
What
And
do you
us and
think?
having there's probably like 200 Mariners fans sitting in that outdoor space too, so it's pretty electric.
That is electric.
Would it be fair to say that all the Coug fans are Mariner fans as well? Would that make sense?
It seemed that way.
It's a good majority. It's definitely a good majority. Because you get
Yeah.
some out-of-staters, you get some people from California that grow up as Giants fans, or some of them Dodgers fans. Some of them are just, they grew up in Seattle and they're just, Yankees fans or Dodgers fans on accident. So yeah, it just kind of is what it is.
Nice.
But that defense, boys, I mean, that's something we got to be proud of.
Boom.
I was gonna say,
Now, that's what I call a defense.
woo, man! We've been talking about it. We've been talking about like what they could be. Like seeing glimpses and like, can they get someone? Can we get a team to a point where they're like, hey, they respect us and they don't hesitate? I saw it, and I don't want to go into super heavy detail yet, but. About some of the folks I think that really shine. But, one of the folks that was interviewed, Isaac Terrell, I loved what he was saying when they asked, us D linemen were so simple. He was like, hey, well, we've been having these glimpses. And this is for proof of like what we can do as a unit together when we believe in each other and we believe in the schemes. Like we focus to the game plan and we make it and we execute. Like that's what they did. I mean, it's so funny. Like lane integrity, their pass rushing, what they were doing on the run stops. Oh man, it was flawless. And of course, there's little pieces that we can improve on. They'll see in their film. But man, I was just like, I was getting so hyped as I was going back and reviewing it. Watch it again. Oh, it was it's a thing of beauty. It was amazing.
Being at the game, one thing I noticed that was a little heavier than past games was the amount of rotation they were doing. Did you guys notice that? Like they were walking four new guys on like every other play. Keeping guys super.
I love that.
Keeping guys super fresh, and like the one thing I love from Bobby that Terrell, they call him what is it?
Bobby Boucher.
Bobby Boucher. Call him energy? I love it.
They call him Bobby Boucher. But one thing he just said, we were noticing that their offensive line was getting tired and just motivated me to do more. Just making me work harder.
That's
so
perfect answer.
I loved it. I loved every second of how we're rotating that.
And I think a huge help was the offense. If you look at the time possession, we had the ball over 5 minutes more than they did, and we had a lot of methodical drives, which gave. Again, we don't have much of 4 or 5 star guys as our third stringers, which like an Ole Miss or SEC program has. So the fact that our offense stayed on the field for long, even if they didn't score, they had sustained drives. That gives our guys a breather, so that way they're not going. I mean, you think of that North Texas game. I mean, that was the epitome of not giving our defense a break. They were off the field, and then they were on the field a minute later. Like they're gassed, and they showed it. And so I think a huge cap to this, the rest of the team, but the offense and having those drives, I think was paramount to having our defense be fresh and come out and kick the living shit out of them. Pardon my French, but
I speak a little French that sound like shit.
Well, I'm just saying, there were a couple times Lacey got up slow. I mean, he killed us in the run, but he got up slow.
There was a point where you could clearly see that he was wearing a grill because he was breathing with his mouth wide open. He was like, I was like, that's what you want. He was like, keep on trying to be a workhorse. We'll make you pay for it. I love it. Sorry. You're right, Kyle. You're absolutely right.
I think the one thing that I looked stat-wise, in terms of yards per rush, we were both at 4.5, right down the line. Passing, we were a yard. I think they were about 2 yards more pass than us. The one big thing I was concerned about, and we talked about it, I kind of looked at, like maybe putting out a questionnaire to everybody was, can we keep them under 70 plays? Because if you look at all their games, they get 70-plus plays. And even their close games before us, LSU, Kentucky, Arkansas, they were right in that 70 to 73 playing range against one another. We only had 59. And again, you look at what we did on third down, we were 2 for 10. But if you look at what our defense did, we kept them under 50% on fourth down. We kept them under 50% on third down. That was massive. And I think that is, I think if we could have got another 4 or 5 plays in, we might have a different result here. But our defense brought it. And I know we messaged the group. UVA probably looked at us and went, there's a nice win. Let's look ahead. They got to look at this game and go,
what did they see? Yeah.
We need to come back and like revisit this, because if we don't, we're going to be sitting there with a 14-point loss going, guys, what happened here? And I really believe that.
Well, and Joel, I wanted to toss you a question. This actually just came up as we were talking about, seeing the defense sending out rotations and giving guys breathers when they need it. Have you noticed, when you were on the field, when you were seeing other teams run their defenses, did you notice teams that utilize rotations more often have a better defense, have better games, or what's your experience with that and what you've seen with that?
It's funny. It's a good question. It's so funny because my answer as a player is different than me being honest and stepping back. Now it's 50,000 years later. So as a player, back when I was like, I gotta stay on the field. I gotta create some type of pattern. I gotta get into my groove. It's where all the D linemen are gonna say that. If you were asked individually, we'd all say no. I mean, get rotation when you can, but keep me in. Like, you can't do rotation. We keep you in. I'll say the teams that took advantage of rotation did it multiple times within any series, not just waiting like, oh, okay, this next group will go after if we, this group gets off the field completely, then this next group goes. Do it every time. Get it, especially when you start seeing guys or, getting your players to relinquish. I don't know if you guys ever noticed players will do this, right? That is being able to signal and say either one, I'm hurt, or two, I'm tired, right? Sometimes both. But
sometimes both.
Right? I was like, it happens. Right? Like, I don't know. Needs being weird and I can't breathe. But I would say the teams that did the best is those who are humble enough to admit, especially as D linemen, we need to rotate out. We need to keep on going every 2-3 plays, keep those legs fresh, especially when you're going against horses like that. I think that's what made a difference. And, this allows not only for the D line itself to figure out like, okay, this is what we can do as a unit, but it also lets you see how far back you can go. So like, some D lines will rotate for sure their first 2 strings. Some will go as far as 3. Some might go as far as 4 within their D tackle. And if you can do that, man, you were golden.
You know what I call that?
Line.
Now I call that defense. Sorry.
You said I'll calm. No, it's good.
Sorry. But that one popped up as Kyle was talking about that. So I wanted to, as somebody who's played, I wanted to at least throw that question in.
It's smart.
But as Joel mentioned there, you got to have the people talented enough to do that, which to Chad's point, 1890 Club, help us get the resources so that we can play 3-4 deep and be competitive. Because there's going to be moments where we don't get these nice 4 or 5 minute drives. There might be a 3 and out that took a minute and a half. Well, if you've only got 5 guys that I know I can play, well, those 5 guys are gassed by the fourth quarter. And that's when crunch time comes along. So
yeah, and I agree with that. And especially on and it's not a slight against. I think the right guys are in the room right now, especially in a first year coach. And I feel, and I was actually talking to the boys too after the game, buddies, college roommates that I went down with. Now I don't think this team this year is better than last year's team, but I think this year's team is a more complete team.
Yeah.
They have the ability to stay in ball games even if guys go down. I feel like their identity across every single position's there. There's no question marks. There's a next man up mentality. No, everything we have was earned. It wasn't given. And I just love just the character behind all the guys when you see in their interview. It's just very spot on with what a Coug should be like, their mentality on things. Nothing against Dickert, but I just felt like there was always a lot of fluff, a lot of great speeches, but it was very handwritten speeches. And just, I would just say Coach Rogers is very authentic. I feel like everything about it is very authentic. I love, and I know we're talking defense, but I just want to kind of do full circle and give out who's the game ball for you guys. And for me, it's like a 1A, 1B, but I'm going to go coaching staff. I feel like they continue to improve and get their guys so that they find that incremental improvements across every single position every week. And they they were coaching their butts off there. I feel like a true strategy behind that. And then B, Coug fans. I might be giving myself an award, I guess, technically, since I was
Pat that back.
Let's go.
I was
Let's
losing
go.
my voice from the 20th row. But man, gosh, everybody was electric. Everybody was in that game. We took the air out of that stadium and we were loud. We were staying in that whole game. I just felt like just everything about it was great. But I'll let you kind of go around the horn from there. Gavin, if you want to take it next, who's your game ball going to?
I'm actually glad you brought up the Kook staff, because I've been very critical of Danny Freund this whole year, and he went in his bag and he pulled out some really good plays. The touchdown to Wright was a great play where he utilized Duggar and he was able to make that one. Now, granted, he almost got sacked and he just barely got the ball out, but he went in his bag, he found some good plays, and he utilized a different style offense than he is normalized to. He's not used to an air raid offense. He's not used to some of this passing game stuff. So he has really developed into a great, just adapted to this new role. So I wanted to give him, my 1A of just going in his bag. And also, I mean, Jimmy did a great job of getting this defense prepared for number 4 ranked Ole Miss. I mean, Chambliss is no joke. You got to be. He's a dual threat guy, and they handled him, I would say, fairly well. He did have that one run towards the end of the game that definitely turned the corner for him. But other than that, I want to give a shout out to probably Tony Freeman. He did have the one drop, but I also, he stepped up in a major way offensively.
A lot of first downs.
A lot of first downs. He was very visible on the field. And when you're down, arguably one of your best guys in Devin Ellison, he has really turned a corner as a wide receiver.
Yeah, and kind of your point on this, the coaches to Danny Freund. I mean, you saw a little bit too of us taking that next step into that South Dakota style, running the football effectively. We had Vahir he went for 88 yards on 10 carries. Angel looked good. I mean, he overall averaged 3 rushes a carry, but 3 yards a carry. But I felt like he had 2 or 3 really strong runs, especially early in the game. I would actually like to see him a little bit more too late and see what he could have been doing out of the backfield. It's something that kind of gone missing a little bit, but I mean, it's nice to kind of see that running game's really coming along. It's going to help us control the clock. That's how you win ball games.
The balance. I think trying to find the balance within this offense, and Danny is starting to figure that out. I love that he has adapted to utilizing Zevi. And I think this goes back to Jimmy. Hindsight's always 20/20. Jimmy naming Zevi was the turning point in the season for me.
That was it.
In my opinion, that's your redshirt senior who had a great year, who stayed through a lot of turmoil. Naming him and being solidified is really what brought this group together and moved forward and held chances like this against Ole Miss. In my opinion, I think that was really the turning point in that clubhouse or that locker room.
Totally agree. Joel, who's your player of the game?
Player of the game. This is going to shock you guys because the defense is amazing. I'm not going to pick a defensive player. I'm like, well, okay, I was like, there's honorable mentions within defense. Hold it down again, getting all, leading the team in tackles. I had Terrell with his 2 sacks, Darren Dalton, getting his sacks, staying consistent. But in all seriousness, it might be too easy. And forgive me, Kyle, you were going this route, but I'm actually going to give the game ball to Zevi Eichhaus. Zevi spread the ball out, 7 different receivers, staying consistent. I mean, but I say most importantly is his responsiveness to chaos. Seeing those moments. There was what was it in third quarter where they had a penalty after penalty after penalty. Like, all right, rest. Like, what are we doing? Right? There was a point where I was just like, all right, like it feels like it's just like getting to be too much. And just watching him lack of response to the chaos and staying focused on the task and still moving the team forward. Even you got to remember we were down by 10 points before the last 4 minutes of the fourth quarter, right? And him stepping up, you can hear it, announcers naturally like, oh, okay, here's this game, thinking like, is this a point where, we might, Washington State might implode, and watching Zevi find ways to march that down the field and score, right? And then getting them an opportunity again to possibly win that game at the very end, the last couple of seconds, man, I say kudos to him. Game ball big time to Zevi. He earned it. There it is. So, yeah, not a decent player.
a couple things on that. I wish we had the NFL PI rule, because that one on Freeman at the end would have been really, really nice to get us in field goal range. Would have been really cool. I kind of lost it because I was like, oh God, we're right there. And I went like, oh wait, it's college, 15 yards. Damn. Also, Cal Reeder getting the targeting call, I thought was absolutely egregious. We want to talk about lowering heads, the whole gambit. To me, either you call that on nobody or you call on the running back, because the running back is just as. The running back didn't drop his top of his crown. He dropped his neck. His head was that far inverted. It was a neck. So, but I could go on a whole rant. I was pissed about that. I thought that was totally unfair to Cal, and I hate the fact that he's got to miss a whole half for that one. So there's what grinds my gears. The fourth phase of SEC football is officiating. But that's another day here or there. But I think if I'm looking at game ball, I'd love to give it to Zevi for everything you said, Joel. I think I'm going to go on defense and probably go with Lamb. I feel like he plugged the inside. If you look at a lot of their runs, a lot of it was off tackle when they made the big runs. He got hurt early, comes back in, gets that forced fumble off a quarterback who did not turn the ball over hardly at all in these 3 starts. Kind of was known, as a guy that didn't give the ball up. And we got that recovered, they got that sack fumble, that toughness that I think Joel, you kind of talked, or even Chad talked about too. Like this, I think this is a more complete team. Again, we don't have a material. We don't have a superstar anything. We've got a bunch of good players. I don't think we have a bunch of great players. And that's not a slight on anybody. It's just kind of where we're at. But I think that makes us better as a result. If we want to talk about the Mariners, I think about the 01 Mariners. Sure, we had Ichiro as an up-and-coming superstar, but in the 2 years prior to that year, you got rid of Ken Griffey and you got rid of A-Rod. Sure, you had Edgar and some of those other key pieces, but you didn't have a perennial superstar on that 01 team. And you look what they did. They came together, they knew their role, and they kicked ass and took names. I look at this team that's finally coming together, and I think Gavin, you talked about it, that bringing in Zevi and saying that's our guy. Everyone kind of gathered, and you can see him on the sidelines. Just the fact that when things go bad, drop passes, he's going up to that guy. Hey, we're good. Cool. Well, hey, shake it off, moving on. And not going to refer to like with Potter, where I think he just ran to his iPad and said, "What did I do wrong?" Your job isn't to figure out what you did wrong. It's to help up your team to move on to the next things. And I hope that himself, Duggar, and some of the other quarterbacks are seeing what he does on a day-to-day basis and in the games and go, how do I emulate that? How do I emulate that in practice? But I'm going to go with Lamb. I'm going to go on the defense. I just think we just having those big guys up front, and this is a guy that probably could have left too, and he's been there and he's fought through things, and he plugged up the middle. I didn't see anything that they did up the middle. Everything was probably 5, 7, the 6, 8 holes. So I'm going to go Lamb. And I asked Joel, is that good? Am I okay? I missed that?
Fantastic. You did great job.
Okay.
That was a great job. I was going to say, I'm glad you brought it up too, because there were a couple of times where Bryson Lamb, he literally lit the guard straight back 2-3 yards. I was like, that's what you want to see for your D tackle. So yeah, great job.
And Gavin, Q2, this is what I call.
Sorry.
That's what I call defense.
Damn it. Come on.
I was hoping you was to do it.
No,
Hey,
that's what I call defense.
no,
Sorry, I had to pull. I had the comments tab pulled up, but just looking to see if anybody had said anything. And sorry, it wasn't on the media assets tab. Now that's what I call defense. Yeah, and wanted to also, do we want to talk about Virginia coming up? Did anybody get to check out any of what's going on with them?
Yeah, I mean we're massive underdogs. We're plus 17.5 point favorite. They are plus. We are plus 17.5. Another SEC game. Oh, sorry, ACC hot streak, right? They're ACC.
Yeah.
All cupcake. What?
They've been playing good football though. I mean their quarterback is pretty darn good. And they have a good
Yeah.
running game. If you look at his numbers overall, just watched a few highlights from this last week, and he's a good player. So, like for me, like going to this Virginia game, like what do we need to do, or what haven't we done this season that I'd like to see us really pull off the upset? It's really just controlling that run game. I'd love to see us, Lamb, obviously continue to do what you're doing on the inside. I love to get better containment so you're not bouncing outside for those long runs. Just killer missed tackles. I mean, I know number 24 for the Cougs, freshman, won't say names, but and it's fine. He's a freshman, but that was a key stop there. So I just would like a little bit better tackling. I think overall, let's contain the run game. I think that's a big thing. I feel like if we do exactly what we did against Ole Miss, improve a little bit better on just our tackling, I feel like it's going to be a really good ball game for the Cougs.
And just a couple quick hits from their last game. They did take over 4-0 Louisville, 30-27. Chandler Morris went 19-31 for 149 yards. So it wasn't quite super electric. University of North Texas like. However, he held them in the game and kept them going. Jamari Taylor, their running back, 16 carries for 68 yards, averaging 4.2 and one touchdown. And looks like a lot of things came from defense. Like it looks like their defense really came to play against defense and special teams, I should say, against Louisville. But did want to just highlight where they're coming from. They are 5-1 and ranked 18th on the season. So yes, we just had a very tough battle and expect another one this weekend.
Yeah. I think we learned a lot from what we did with Ole Miss. I love the fact that Jimmy Rogers said that there's no such thing as a moral victory. He expects them to be competitive, and that's what the energy they need to bring to this Virginia game. They need to keep that going. I mean, certainly the same game plan would work. I would love for them to make better use of Palouse. Like you were saying, Chad, I mean, yes, we need to do better in our run game. I think Angel can get us there. Voorhees is our guy, but I think Angel can do that with the mixing it in. But I think while doing that, what we did well at moments that flashed it before the drop pass was being able to have that play action because we're doing so well in the initial with the inside runs or the zone reads that we can dump it off. Then we can do that. We can actually have that action where we can dump off to the other end. I think Palouse could be that other running back from the other end to catch that backside. So I think that would work really well. I think we should do those screen plays. And yeah, I think that we could take it to Virginia. I think we should win this game. I think if we do our best, we have less penalties than them, we get turnovers, we should be able to beat Virginia. It's crazy to say, boys. I think we can do it.
You're talking about a team that beat Florida State a few weeks ago, right?
I know.
Same Virginia team.
Same team. You're right. But I believe it, man. I believe in us. Oh.
No, I truly do too. And like just to piggyback on what you said with Jimmy, there's no such thing as a moral victory when you're a player, coach, putting in your butt, you put in the time, working your butt off day over day, like you expect a W, right? So I think that's just a testament of like who he is as coach, and he's very consistent with his messaging to the players. They know their role, they know their job, and they know that he demands excellence for them too. So got to feel good about this game. Got to feel good. 17.5 points. That's a lot of points. But Vegas.
So is 33.
So is 32 or 33.
Yeah, they said, yeah.
Yeah, so you have to feel pretty good. But Kyle, tell me how you feeling about this Virginia game.
I think what you mentioned with Jimmy is spot on. I think he is a guy that he's not too high, too low. It's an expectation. Hey, we go to work and we do our job like we're supposed to do. We should expect good things. And I think that's his message is, hey, I don't need you to be overhyped or underhyped, whatever it is. Do your job. If you do your job and the other 10 guys on the team, on that field with you in those plays does their job, we should have good results. And I think you saw that makeup last week. And if we can regurgitate that effort this next week, I mean, I think we're going to be sitting here on Monday, Tuesday of next week, pretty happy people. Now that could be a World Series, or that could be an upset and a World Series. We'll see how it all shakes out. But
do you think the miles traveled is going to play into anything?
That was one thing I was gonna.
I don't think so. I really don't. I think if you look at, you think about where we're at. We are in the Palouse, right? We're pretty far away from a lot of other things. So we travel normally. Not to pull back the Mariners in here, but they travel more than anybody just because of where we are demographically. So I think the travel for us isn't that big of a deal. And I think, when you're in Pullman, you deal with a lot of different, environments, cold, windy, rainy. Sometimes that's in 3 hours of a day. I still remember the first time I came to Pullman on a trip, it literally snowed, it hit 80, it poured rain, and then there was a windstorm. So I think we get a lot of benefits out of here. And I think for us, it's just, hopefully the way that Jimmy goes, just another day on the football field. Just have fun, do your thing, and we'll see how this goes. So I feel confident that if we can come out with the same effort, energy that we did last week, it's a good result.
Yeah, and what I like as well is it's 2 weeks, right? It's not like we're playing in the ACC and we're Stanford or Cal, and it's every other week you're having to go across the country. Granted, this is back-to-back weeks. It's not the most ideal, and it's different when we talk about college players that still are going to class and still have a life outside of football that they kind of have to attack. It's a little bit different. So I think there's a little wear and tear on the body when you have back-to-back, East Coast games or just, going that far across the country. So could it play a factor? Sure, it could. But yeah, when you just have these two big games to kind of focus on, and Jimmy's going to go back to the drawing board, and he's gonna fire up some good defensive plays. I know they're going to be just hawking film and making sure that they're prepared for Chandler Morris and company, just the way they did. If they prepare with the same tenacity that they prepared last week, I think you're going to see another good game. I can't definitively say if you're going to be on the winning side of that, but just from a statistical standpoint, there's a chance that there's a good chance you end up on the other side if you did that against a 33-point favorite or 32.5, whatever the favorites was. But either way, I'm fired up to see what Jimmy's got cooking. That's what it boils down to. I'm fired up to see what Jimmy's cooking this week.
Oh, Jim.
And Jimmy. also think about a lot of these guys are not from the Northwest, right? A lot of these guys are from the Midwest, maybe even far as back east. So these games that we start playing out here, maybe have a little more motivation. They may have family in town. I mean, that is a element that is not you're ever going to see on a stat sheet. And I think that is a huge proponent to people playing even above what they're normally used to is being close to family. And so, I mean, I'd love to go see the numbers of how many guys we have in the Midwest to the East and see like, hey, they might have family in town. That is a huge game changer when it comes to just those little things when it comes to in those games.
Yeah, it would be sweet if we can get another 5,000 plus Cougs there at that game. I know when we were just going around and just saying hi to all the Cougs we ran into, there was a huge group of like 60 of them that were in town for the Ole Miss game, and they're doing a road trip, and they're going to be in Virginia next week.
Nice.
Like, what do you guys do? Do you work it all? But I love it.
Must be nice.
Like,
Right.
After you money, cool.
Yeah, sounds nice. Well, sign me up for that. I mean, I'm predicting a Cougs victory by 3, tied up.
Let's go, Chad.
Minute left. We drive down, and Stevens gets his opportunity to win a ball game for us.
Let's go.
Fire me up. I like that.
So,
but before we go, is there anything else we want to talk about, boys, or we should wrap this up?
Yeah. What's final thoughts, boys? Final thoughts.
Love this team.
I'll throw my hat in the ring. I'm really excited to see what back-to-back Jimmy cooks. I'm really excited to see what he goes back with. Learning, because also, yes, it was a loss, but there was a lot of things that you can learn from that loss against Ole Miss. So going back to the drawing board, finding out which small plays can we tweak, especially Danny Freund. I want to really see what Danny Freund can grind into. I want to see him in his bag this week and just pulling out some masterpieces, because now he's got some guys. Hopefully Devin Ellison is back. I haven't heard any news about Devin Ellison. Prayers for him. I hope whatever's going on with his health, I really hope that he can find his way back. But that was just my final thoughts. Is I'm really excited to see this coaching staff get these guys back together. And you learn more when you lose, but you learn more when you lose to a team like that, of that caliber, by that close. I really think that this was one that they're just like, we should have won. Now we need to be focused on Virginia, because we know what the boys are bringing.
Yeah, to let you know on Ellison, Jimmy actually touched on it looks like this week. So did not play because of a rolled ankle. And Jimmy just said we need to see a full week of practice from him before we send him out there. So we call him probable.
Probably.
maybe doubtful, right in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DNP did not practice.
But we'll have better idea after probably by Wednesday. We'll have a really good idea on that if he's playing, because I think that's huge. But for me, I'm looking at we had Freeman have his breakout game this week on offense. I'm looking who's next, and I look at the name Angel on our wings, Angel Johnson, baby. I'm just like, it's your time. We've talked about you so much before the season. And each week you've gotten a little bit more wrinkle in the offense. And I feel like this is the time where he starts clicking. That first quarter, second quarter turns into all 4 quarters that we had this last week. So I'm going to go Angel Johnson as my breakout.
Love it.
I love it. Fantastic. Well, I'll jump in, to piggyback off of what you were sharing, Gavin. I mean, I do think there's a lot of opportunity for them to learn. I think when they watch film, the fun part of watching film is depending on how a team does it, most teams will do it collectively as a all offense, all defense, right? And which is fun because it's fun and also terrifying because you can have moments where you're like, "Hey, you see, good job, Angel." Like, "Oh, Angel, what happened there?" It can happen real quick before they break out into positions, into separate running backs, linemen, what have you. But I think they'll have the fun moments within the major units, but when they zoom in at position level, they're going to see the opportunities that were missed, but also how good they really are. It's when you look at it, when they zoom in on some of those plays, you're going to see we could have not only beat Ole Miss, we could actually beat them by more than a touchdown. There was a point when I was looking at those, I'm just looking at hey, this was a miscue, this is a miscue. But if you follow it along and you zoom out to see hey, how close would this be? There's a couple of them that could have been touchdown plays. I mean, the O-line.
Ole Miss just had a lot of big plays. They had 4 or 5 of them where it's just tough. It's
tough.
We were a bend but don't break defense, and then they just randomly would have a big play that just missed tackle.
It was just one break.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's going to be, if anything, it should be advantageous to say hey, so not only were we good, but we can be better. We can actually be better. So what does better mean for us next week? I want to see what that looks like.
Yeah, excited for it. Anybody else before we wrap this up?
Yeah, Joel, love the insight, by the way. Being able to speak out how that film kind of breaks down once you're in that locker room, and just being able to, hey, we watch it as a team and then we break out at the position level and everything. Good insight. I really appreciate that.
It's fun, and again, it also is nerve-wracking. You can't be a little bit of this guy doesn't lie situation.
Well, Chad, if you want to wrap it up.
Well, fellas, it was fun. Good game. I feel like as a fan, there is such thing as a moral victory. That's something I can disagree with Rogers on, and I hope he smiles at it. I think as a Coug fan, you just want to see continued improvement. We're going in the right direction. Super excited about it. But boys, looking forward to Virginia. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Thank you, everybody. The Palouse Playbook. I'm your host, Chad Kebba. We got Kyle, Joel, and Gavin. Win or lose, go Cougs.
Go Cougs. Who Nation, you better get ready.